Leave it in Jerusalem, I assure you. You're at Nazareth, pray. You're a dangerous man, Bernard. If the war's to be now or later, I'd have it now. How long can the leper last? God wills it! God wills it!
Podcast number 2. Why would anyone want to go on a crusade?
Ooh, pick me!
Mr. Carrillo, can you please answer the question?
The Pope is going to promise that if you go and you fight in the Holy Land, that God will let you into heaven because you are fighting for him.
Does anyone maybe have another answer?
Ooh, me. I do, Miss Burton.
Okay, Mrs. Romero, what do you have?
Well, the church is going to tell you that if you fight in the Crusades, you can save the soul of a dead family member or a loved one. So if they died before they had their last rites, or if they committed suicide and you did not know if they went to heaven, you can fight for their soul to go to heaven.
Well, that was a good answer, but is there anything else? Mr. Johnson. Thank you.
I guess land and riches. Not everyone had a Christian calling to go fight in the Crusades. Some went for ba-bling, ba-bling, cha-ching, cha-ching, money, and the opportunities to be a noble. Think about it. To be a successful knight, be promoted to a noble, was getting hard and hard to achieve. Land is becoming harder to come by in Europe because of the population increase in Europe. So you now had a better chance of becoming a landowner in the Middle East than in Europe right now. Just like some of your parents trying to find a job in town. It's hard. So they drive down the hill to get a job. I think that's a qualified answer.
Yeah, I guess that'll work. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Is there anybody else in the crowd?
Me!
Oh, yeah. All right, Mr. Carrillo, go ahead.
The adventure! Most people during this time did not travel very far from home, unlike today, where we can travel hundreds of miles a day in a car, plane, or train. So the opportunity to travel to distant lands and experience new things appeal to a lot of people who have never traveled more than 50 miles away from home their whole life and lived on a manor working in the fields.
Okay, I'm confused. So how do you know who is a crusader?
To distinguish who was a crusader and not, the crusaders would wear a white shirt or tunic with a painted or sewn-on black or red cross on their chest. The red would signify the blood that they'd be willing to shed for their God and their faith. Like we mentioned before, most of these people never traveled very far from home and didn't even know what a Muslim looked like. So the church needed to distinguish who you should kill and who you should not kill. That's why they painted on the red cross. Just like our sports events today, athletes would wear team jerseys so you know who's on your team and who's not on your team. Speaking of sports events, you know how before a game a team would do a chant to pump each other up, like... The Crusaders would yell...
God wills it! God wills it.
I was
God wills it.
completely